So, have you heard about Trump's latest move concerning Ukraine's minerals?
Yeah.
It's been generating quite a buzz lately.
Yeah, I saw some headlines about that. What's the full story? Does Ukraine really have that much mineral wealth?
Well, that's the intriguing part. Reports are suggesting that Ukraine has mineral deposits worth over $10 trillion. But
Wow.
when you look closer, it's a bit more complicated than that.
Oh, really? What's the catch?
So, Trump is particularly interested in rare earth elements from Ukraine, offering military support
Right.
in return. But here's the thing. Ukraine doesn't actually have significant reserves of rare earths that are recognized as economically viable.
Wait, so he's banking on resources that might not even be there?
Exactly. Ukraine does have some reported deposits, but most of them are byproducts of other mining activities, like phosphates. And some of these deposits are even in areas under Russian control.
So it's not like there's a treasure trove of rare earths waiting to be tapped.
Precisely. And even if there were substantial deposits, mining is
Right.
only half the battle. The real challenge lies in processing these minerals, and China dominates that sector, accounting for about 90% of the world's processing capacity.
That's a massive share. So even if we get the raw materials, we'd still be dependent on China for processing.
Exactly. Any deal with Ukraine doesn't solve that critical bottleneck.
Yeah.
The U.S. needs to develop its own processing and manufacturing capabilities, and right now, that infrastructure isn't in place.
That's a significant oversight. Why focus so much on acquiring raw materials without addressing processing?
Well, I think it's part of a broader strategy to reduce reliance on China and secure critical minerals globally. Remember
Right.
when Trump expressed interest in purchasing Greenland for its resources?
Oh, yeah, that was quite a headline grabber. So this is along the same lines.
Exactly. But the issue here is that Ukraine's rare earth potential might be overestimated or not immediately accessible. Plus, the geopolitical tensions with Russia complicate matters further.
You know, I can't help but wonder if focusing on Ukraine is the best approach. Shouldn't we invest more in building our own processing facilities?
That's a great point. Developing domestic processing capabilities is crucial. But it's
Right.
challenging due to environmental regulations, high costs, and the need for significant investment.
It seems like we're caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. It's like trying to assemble a puzzle without all the pieces.
Yeah.
We might have some pieces, but without the rest, we can't see the full picture.
Exactly. So, besides rare earths, does Ukraine offer any other valuable minerals?
Well, Ukraine has been promoting its deposits of lithium, graphite, and titanium.
Okay.
They claim to have Europe's largest lithium deposit, which sounds promising at first glance.
Lithium is in high demand for batteries, especially with the rise of electric vehicles. That could be significant.
True, but the global production of lithium has actually surpassed demand recently, leading to a crash in prices. So investing heavily there might not yield the expected returns.
I see. And what about titanium?
Ukraine is a top 10 producer of ilmenite and rutile, which are titanium-bearing minerals.
Right.
However, these are mainly used to produce a common white pigment, not the titanium sponge required for aerospace and defense applications.
So again, without the capacity to process it into the needed form, it's not that helpful.
Exactly. It's a recurring theme. Processing and refining are the bottlenecks. Without those capabilities, raw mineral deposits don't translate into strategic advantages.
It really underscores the importance of the entire supply chain, not just the raw materials.
Absolutely. And Western countries have struggled to establish their own rare earth businesses due to environmental issues, processing challenges,
Right.
and competition from China. Companies like Lynas and MP Materials have faced significant hurdles.
So perhaps the focus should shift to investing in domestic processing infrastructure and recycling technologies.
That's a viable strategy. It's like planting seeds for future growth. It might
Yeah.
take time and resources, but it could yield sustainable results in the long run.
And maybe collaborating with allies who have both resources and processing capabilities could help bridge the gap.
Definitely. Partnerships could be key.
Right.
It's about creating a resilient and diversified supply chain.
So do you think Trump's focus on Ukraine's minerals is more about geopolitics than actual resource acquisition?
That's an interesting perspective. Strengthening ties with Ukraine could serve multiple strategic purposes, including countering Russian influence.
True, but if the mineral resources aren't immediately beneficial, is it worth the effort?
That's a valid question. It might be more symbolic than practical at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe the focus should be on diplomatic and technological solutions instead.
Agreed. Investing in innovation, like developing alternative materials or improving recycling methods, could reduce our dependency on these critical minerals.
Exactly. Necessity drives innovation. By focusing on new technologies, we might find better solutions than chasing uncertain resources abroad.
Well, this has been a really enlightening conversation. Thanks for breaking it all down.
My pleasure. Always happy to chat about these complex topics.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see how this situation evolves.
definitely. Let's keep an eye on it.
For sure. Until next time.